Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So, Martial Machine spoiler season has finally wrapped up. We have every single card from the set and from the pre-cons, and well, taking a look at everything just as a whole, I think it's a fantastic job, and yeah, a lot of exciting things for Commander, a lot of exciting new commanders. I think battles are pretty sweet, actually. I really like the way that those are designed. It's pretty exciting to have a new permanent type as well. And yeah, a lot of successes in this set. Just one nitpick. One nitpick I'm going to throw out there right now that kind of didn't realize until, I saw a certain card. And in my opinion, this is a pretty big mistake because, let's jump into it. So, Cosmic Hunger. Now, the problem is not with this card. The problem is, with the context of this card, I guess. So, instant for 1 and a green. Target creature control deals damage equal to its power. Another target creature planeswalker battle. That's cool. Sure, whatever. That's fine. The problem, though, is take a look at the art. We have this giant thing that is about to eat this ship. And you're like, I wonder what that is. Then you read the flavor text, and you're like, okay, the Copper host sought only the strongest converts. In Koma, it found perfection. Oh, that's Koma. Okay, so, hey, you know that giant cosmic serpent on Kaldheim? Well, the Phyrexians just, apparently, Phyrexianized it. Oh, and it's just a footnote on a card. On a common card. It's just a footnote. No, we don't need to see it. Nope, just off-screen death for Koma, essentially, on a common card. Basically. Goodness gracious, what in the world? I had to look back through the set. I had to look back through the pre-cons. I was like, I've got to be missing something. Koma had to have come out, right? Like a Phyrexianized giant cosmic serpent. What is cooler than that? Apparently not cool enough to be in the set, though. My goodness, that is just weird. Set with the pre-cons, you had so many opportunities to put it in there. And it's like, nope. No. We don't need that. We don't need a Phyrexianized Koma just as a card. Maybe in the future we'll get one. But I'm a little impatient, so... Here you go. Koma Fallen Serpent. This is obviously a custom card that I designed. I hope that you enjoy it. And yeah, I think it's a pretty good job. I think it's a pretty good representation of what the new Koma would be. Here we go. 6/6 Phyrexian Serpent with Toxic 3. Costing 2, Phyrexian black, green, blue. So yeah, Koma now is a Sultai commander. Simic was the home for Koma. Now it's Sultai, apparently, because again, Phyrexian. There you go. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature token with Toxic 1, and this creature can't block. You see the reference back to the old Koma a little bit, how it was making the 3/3 Koma coils or whatever they were, and now it's just they're just 1/1s, but they have Toxic 1 and can't block. Anyways, sacrifice another Phyrexian, choose 1. Koma Fallen Serpent can't be blocked this turn or proliferate. So, okay, maybe I went too far with this one. I think it's fairish. I don't know. Anyways, so what's going to happen with this one is, a lot of exciting things. Number 1, this is a 6/6 with Toxic 3 that, does cost 7 mana in total, but you can cast for 6, so that's nice. More importantly, though, on every single upkeep, you get a creature token, just like the original Koma. But with these tokens, they are going to be toxic. So again, they're adding to that kind of poison threat that you have, not just with your commander, but, every single turn, essentially, every single round, trip around the table, I should say, you are going to be making 4 toxic creatures to go along with your lovely toxic commander. And of course, you can have other, toxic creatures as well. And also, you can sacrifice these toxic creatures, which are Phyrexians or other Phyrexians too, to do one of 2 exciting things. Number 1, make it so that Koma is unblockable. Yeah, Toxic 3 coming through, that sounds pretty good. Hitting an opponent and, giving them 3 poison counters, that's 3/10 of the way there to taking them out, obviously, with poison counters. Or you can sacrifice your, Phyrexians to proliferate. So the more of those tokens you're making, and your other Phyrexians are going to be in play too, the more chances you have to proliferate. So, yeah, at a certain point, you're going to easily be able to take out your opponents. Once you just get a couple of poison counters on them, you can proliferate again and again and again. This is a commander that, the previous iteration of Koma, first of all, couldn't be countered, which was gross. Also, could be indestructible very easily. I kind of wanted to make this one a little more easy to deal with because, yeah, you can take your opponents out pretty quickly with poison counters with this. Yeah, just get a couple poison counters on your opponents, get this out there, have it sit around for a little bit if you can protect it, and essentially just make more and more of those Phyrexians that you can sacrifice to proliferate to take out all your opponents. Basically, just start getting counters on all your opponents, get poison counters on all your opponents, and then you can proliferate them again and again and again to take them out. So this is just my idea of what Koma would be. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Do you think it's too powerful, not powerful enough? What would you change on it? Would it be even these colors? How would you make Koma? But with this version of Koma, of course, I want to do a I feel like, again, Koma did not get the on-screen death it deserved and the on-screen card it deserved. So, see, I'm trying to give Koma some attention. So, let's jump to some cards that would work well with this brand new custom commander. Here we go. So, again, from the most recent set, before this one, for XLB1, we got a lot of exciting new Phyrexians, including a lot of toxic creatures like Bilious. Bilious? Is that the name? Bilious! Skull Dweller. It sounds like someone's named Billy, but like that's like their actually, you know, it's like Billy is short for Bilious. You know, I am Bilious the First. Okay, anyways, that's a little off topic. Regardless, Bilious Skull Dweller. I'm sure I'm just saying that wrong. Bilious. Ah, that's the word. Gosh. Okay, we're keeping that in. Anyways, 1/1 Death Touch Toxic, 1 Phyrexian Insect for a black mana. So a low-to-ground creature that can just start that toxic train going. And also, it's a good blocker, and it's also hard to block. On top of that, again, Koma can sacrifice it because, again, you're not specifically sacrificing might. You can sacrifice any Phyrexian, essentially, to proliferate or get Koma through. Moving on, Pestilent Siphoner. Again, low to the ground. This time, evasive creature that is a Phyrexian. 1/1 for 1 and a black. Flying, toxic 1. Get through on opponents, on a lot of opponents who don't have flyers, get through on them, get those toxic counters, poison counters going. There we go. And then just start, again, getting those counters up. Maybe start spreading them around again on opponents so you can start proliferating every single one of your opponents. And the OG toxic, we've got Infect, of course, that we can utilize as well, like Plague Stinger. 1/1 flying Phyrexian insect that also, again, costs the exact same much as the Pestilent Siphoner. 1 in a black, flying Infect. Again, Infect, 1/1 is basically the exact same thing again as Toxic 1. I mean, it does replace the damage, but, you know, basically, again, getting 1 poison counters. Of course, if you get a way to, you know, pump this, you can do even more because, again, it's based on the amount of damage dealt versus, you know, Toxic is, like, based on the number next to it. Regardless, still very effective, very efficient, and, again, low to the ground, and you can sacrifice it, too. Next up, how about Stinging Hive Master? Now, there aren't too many creatures, or too many, when I was looking it up, and I was trying to look this up quickly, but yeah, there's not too many creatures, I think, that actually make additional mites, essentially, in these colors. There are in other colors, but yeah. You got Stinging Hive Master. It's a great one. 3/2 Phyrexian Warlock. That costs 2 in a black. Toxic 1, and also when it dies, you get a 1/1 Phyrexian Might. So basically, hey, well, I mean, I guess there's not a lot that have Toxic as well. I can't remember exactly what I looked up with this one, but it's a very effective one because, again, this can give poison counters, obviously. When it dies, it can make something give poison counters as well. And on top of that, again, it and the creature that it's making are both Phyrexians, so you can sacrifice both of them to your new Koma. So there you go. Moving on. Even Phyrexian Revoker. I mean, a creature that does not have Toxic, does not have, you know, Infect. It can't give out poison counters. Can, again, contribute in multiple ways, of course. As enters the battlefield, which is a non-land card name, activates abilities of sources with the chosen name can be activated. This can be incredibly effective, especially against commanders that have activated abilities. So this is a great utility card to help you out in a lot of situations. And on top of that, again, it is a Phyrexian, so you can sacrifice it to this commander. So again, it can be quite beneficial for you. So yeah, kind of like a Phyrexian tribal kind of sub-theme you can definitely utilize in this as well. Masked Vandal. Hey, also a Phyrexian, technically. Although, actually, are changelings technically Phyrexianized then? Because they're all also Phyrexians? And then not Phyrexians? I don't know. Anyways, it is a Phyrexian, though, because it is a changeling, meaning it's every creature type. When it enters the battlefield, you can exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, exile an artifact or enchantment. So again, good utility creature, one that can get rid of permanently some very pesky permanents. And yeah, again, it is a Phyrexian. So make sure you're considering changelings as well, because yeah, they can be sacrificed to this brand new custom commander. Next up, Thrumming Bird, also a Phyrexian. I think this one was errated because it previously wasn't. They didn't have the Phyrexian type way back then. Anyways, 1/1 flying Phyrexian that says when it deals counter to a player, proliferate. So again, this one can help you once you get 1 poison counter on an opponent, just get more and more and more. Again, basically, I mean, I'm not going to say 3 times as effective as a toxic creature, but essentially, if you've got 1 poison counter of each of your opponents, you're basically giving out 3 poison counters with this every single time it hits, because you can just put 1 poison counter on all of your opponents then. On top of that, again, you can proliferate kind of in desperation as well to be like, okay, oh, you're at 9? Okay, cool. I already hit, cool. I already got that proliferate. Oh, I'll sacrifice this with my commander to proliferate further to take you out. So yeah, this can be a great way to do that. Again, having just Phyrexians that can either give poison counters or ones that can kind of, again, add to them with proliferate can be fantastic. Speaking of which, yeah, Zuri came back in for XLB1 in a big way. Enters the battlefield. You may pay 3 if you do proliferate twice. So again, basically 2 poison counters on each of your opponents if they already have 1 there. That is huge. And of course, on top of that, whenever you proliferate, draw a card. So again, when you're sacrificing Phyrexians with your commander, you're drawing a card as well if you are using that, to proliferate versus making Koma unblockable. So there you go. A fantastic card to consider as well. And then, yeah, how about just Tezzeret's Gambit? Those old school proliferate cards, Source for 3 and Phyrexian blue, draw 2 cards, proliferate, just a solid card again. One that is, just basically a divination. I mean, with some life loss, cost 3. Regardless. Divination with life loss, but you get to proliferate on top of that again, which can be, game ending in many situations with a commander like this. Last set also we got some, more great cards that are low to the ground that can up out in a lot of, proliferate poison decks. Prologue to Phyresis. Each opponent gets a poison counter, draw a card. So again, just early on, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm drawing cards. Okay, cool. I'll start a poison counter off on everyone, on all opponents. I'm going to start poison counters off. So again, once my commander comes down and I've got some Phyrexians in play, I can just start sacrificing them, making more might, sacrificing them to proliferate to get my opponents out of the game. Next up, Infectious Inquiry. You draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Each opponent gets a poison counter. So again, more and more of these effects in your deck, the more and more chances you have to give those poison counters out even before your commander comes in play. Again, you've got toxic effects, you got infect effects, and then you've also got, ways to give up poison counters and then ways to proliferate so you can get really set up. So when your commander does come out to play, you are ready to rock. And now, with these cards, let's move on to the, I guess I probably should mention, these were the budget buys. These are the cards that are less than $1. I'm already off my game. It's already like this next day after spoiler season's over, and I'm already off my game. These were the budget buys. Cards that are less than $1. Now, let's move on to the pricier picks, cards that are more than $1. Let's start things off with Parallel Lives. Parallel Lives, I'm keeping this in the place of also doubling season, all those other doubling effects. Whenever there's a commander that makes tokens, yes, those are good with them, essentially. Okay, usually, for the vast majority of the time. But yeah, if an effect would put 1 or more tokens on the battlefield under your control, put twice as many of those tokens on the battlefield instead. Cool, it's good. Double up your Phyrexian mites that you're making with your commander. Absolutely very effective. And doubling season too, just so I mention it. So no one comments, but I'm like, what about doubling season? I mentioned it, okay? Moving on, Inkmoth Nexus. Oh, this card is gross. So this one actually, I believe, has been errated. So now it also is a Phyrexian when it transforms. Not transforms. Pay 1, Inkmoth Nexus becomes a 1/1 Phyrexian Blinkmoth artifact creature with flying and infect until on turn slowly lands. So this one actually, again, is a land, not really taking up a slot in your deck. You can use it to dish out some poison counters again because it has infect and it's evasive, it has flying, so get it through on your opponents. And of course, in a pinch, you can also, pay 1, make it into a creature, and sacrifice it with your commander again because it is going to be a Phyrexian. So there you go. Speaking of a Phyrexian, I believe this one's also been errated. Blighted Agent, a 1/1 unblockable infect, I believe Phyrexian, human rogue. So yeah. Hey, you know what's scary? Infect. You know what's really scary? Unblockable infect. So there you go. Get it down early, get it through on your opponents, get the poison train started. You know what's really scary too? Tainted Strike. In combination with your commander, this would be a one-shot KO if you can get it through. And of course, you can get it through simply by sacrificing a Phyrexian. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains infect until end of turn. So again, your commander would be dealing 7 infect damage. That's 7 poison counters. And again, it has Toxic 3, so that is 10 in total. So just hitting once with your commander in combination with this could take your opponents out. And of course, giving, infect to maybe all your creatures can be incredibly impactful with Triumph of the Hordes. Until end of turn, creatures you control get +1/+1, gain trample infect. Cool. Swing out with all your Phyrexian mites, all your other Phyrexians, and keep in mind that Infect does stack on top of Toxic, and also stacks on top of other Infect too. So if you've got Infect creatures, now they have 2 instances of Infect, those apply separately, which is great. So yeah, again, this can just be a gross way to take your opponents out, on top of all the other gross ways that you have to take your opponents out. And of course, speaking of gross, you've got plenty of ways to proliferate when it comes to a higher budget. Again, cards are more than $1. Evolution Sage, please reprint it again. It was budget for a little bit and then non-budget. Here we go. Evolution Sage. Whenever land is battlefield under control, proliferate. You are in green. Obviously, you've got plenty of ways to land ramp, get a ton of lands into play, proliferate a lot with this. Of course, you also have another one, like a Flux Channeler. Also used to be budget. Please reprint it. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, proliferate. This can just be absurd. Again, the more and more non-creature spells you cast, again, especially those ones that already proliferate, like a Tezzeret's Gambit, you're doing it again. And yeah, you can just get yourself set up to take your opponents out by the time your commander comes down. Speaking of which, an execrable type. Hey, you know what's even better than, proliferating on non-creature spells? Proliferating on every single one of your spells. Whenever you cast a spell, proliferate. A great enchantment for this kind of a build. And yeah, just pretty disgusting overall. So yeah, if you have this in play, you got all these other proliferative effects in play, and you've got poison counters on, or at least one poison counter each of your opponents, they're going to be in big trouble and get taken out in no time. Finally, Karn's Bastion. Yeah, even just taking up a land slot in your deck, you're not really just taking up any kind of space. You can afford to include a couple of lands that just have bright colors, right? Karn's Bastion, tap for colors, pay 4, tap, proliferate. This can be a game-ending play just from a land. Pretty fantastic. So yeah, again, including, cards that proliferate, including Phyrexians, including Toxic, including Infect. There's a lot of really cool things that you can include with a Chimera like this if Wizards would have designed it, because what in the world, Wizards? Why? Why didn't you include Koma in the set? I know there's a lot of other things, and yeah, sure, there was other planes that were being attacked. I mean, every plane was being attacked essentially, right? But like, you mentioned this one getting taken out. You mentioned Koma getting taken out, which is not a small creature. In fact, Koma's quite large. But yeah, like not a small part of Kaldheim, like a pretty massive part of Kaldheim being the Cosmos Serpent. And you're like, by the way, on this common, we're just gonna say Koma's dead. Okay, cool. Okay, I don't get it. Comment below with your thoughts on that. Comment below with your thoughts on my version of Koma. What do you think? Is it too powerful, not powerful enough? Would it be different? Would it be completely different? Did I get it completely wrong? Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on it, of course. And as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.